Nobody can return that.
Hey friends, real quick, I'm giving away a $150 Selkirk Invikta amped paddle to one of you legends currently watching this video. There will be more details about that in just a bit, so stick around, but first, we gotta talk about this serve. So by this point, we're all pretty familiar with the chainsaw serve. It's been one of the most polarizing topics in pickleball over the last few weeks, and it seems like there are likely going to be some measures put in place to prevent a two-handed serve like that moving forward. So I took a page out of Morgan Evans' book and started working on a one-handed serve. I watched a ton of cricket videos like this one to see how they get so much spin on the ball. There's this concept in cricket called finger spin, which is exactly what it sounds like. It's a way to manipulate your fingers in such a way that they impart spin on a ball. After working with this serve for a couple of weeks, I really have started to master it, and I've observed the potential of what it could be. And that got me thinking, is this one-handed serve really better than the chainsaw? In order to figure out which serve is better, we need some sort of metric to compare them with. For that, we can look at this Instagram DM from Mr. Zane Saw himself. I asked Zane about using the back of the hand to generate opposite spin, and his response was, you can do that, but it doesn't generate nearly the same RPM. RPM stands for revolutions per minute, or more simply, a metric to determine how fast a ball is spinning. The more RPM, the more kick the serve will have, and we can say with some certainty that the better serve will have the most RPM. So I painted some dots on the pickleball to give me a reference point, and then I recorded several chainsaw and finger spin serves so that I could calculate the revolutions per minute. In 10 out of 10 trials, the forward finger spin serve had a higher RPM than the forward chainsaw serve. Usually, it was about 20% faster. Now of course, this is not the most scientific test possible, and there are a ton of variables. But coming from someone who has been doing the chainsaw for a few months now, the finger spin serve is better. Now obviously this serve is very similar to the Morgan Evans serve, with the main difference being how we toss the ball. And a fair warning, this serve requires putting your fingers in weird positions that you probably haven't done before. My fingers seriously hurt for the first week after attempting this, but slowly they got stronger and used to the motion, and now it doesn't hurt at all. There's two directions you can spin the ball, either away from you, which I call a forward flick, and towards you, which I call a backwards flick. Each method requires slightly different finger placement. If you have larger fingers, this will be easier for you, but it's also very possible with smaller hands, and I'll show you how to do that. For the forward flick, first point your index finger and middle fingers away from you and spread them out as far as possible. Then move your index finger so that it is below your middle finger like this. Place the ball between those two fingers and put your thumb on the ball for support. Now turn your hand 90 degrees clockwise so that your fingers are pointed to the right. Quickly roll your hand away from you while flicking your index finger up and your middle finger down. This will generate forward spin. The faster you flick your index finger up, the more RPM you will generate. If your hands are smaller, you can place the ball between your index and ring finger instead, and just use the middle finger and thumb for support. For the backwards flick, turn your palm face up and extend your middle finger and index finger again and spread them out as far as possible. Move your middle finger up and your index finger directly below it. You can place the ball between your fingers and then turn your hand 90 degrees clockwise with your fingers once again pointed to the right. Quickly roll your hand towards you while moving your index finger up and over the ball to generate backward spin. If your hands are smaller, you can place the ball between your index and ring finger instead and use the exact same technique to generate spin. One of the most frequently asked questions I get is, why do you and Morgan Evans turn sideways when you serve? The reason is that the kick on the ball to the right or the left pretty much only comes from the spin on the toss. So if we stood straight and flicked the ball forward, well, it would bounce forward. In order for it to kick left, we turn to the left and then flick the ball forward, which is now actually to the left. Hey, before we get any further, if you want to win the paddle that I mentioned in the beginning of the video, it's super simple. All you need to do is click thumbs up, make sure that you're subscribed, and leave a comment on this video telling me why you like pickleball. I will randomly select a winner next week and get in touch with you. There's 3 more things I want to show you before you go. How to hit the ball, the strategy, and how to defend it. Remember that what causes the ball to kick is the spin that we put on the ball from our toss, not from our paddle. It's super important to keep a straight swing and try not to add additional spin with your paddle. In my experience, the best serves are ones where the toss falls towards my right hip, allowing me to swing straight ahead. The most effective strategy I've found for getting aces is to use the opposite spin of the direction you're hitting. By that I mean, if you're on the left side of the court and serving to the right side, then use left spin. If you're on the right side of the court and hitting to the left side, then use right spin. This forces your opponent to move out wide to return the serve, and then it will bounce very hard back into the court. The alternative is to spin the ball in the direction you're hitting it. So spinning it left if hitting from right to left, and spinning it right if hitting from left to right. This does a great job of moving your opponent further off the court, but I found that it doesn't yield itself to quite as many service winners. Defending this serve really isn't terribly difficult if you get a few things right. The thing that will help you the most is understanding which direction the ball is being spun. To do this, you can look at my elbow to see which way I'm flicking it. If my elbow goes down, then I'm flicking it forward in the direction that I'm facing. If my elbow goes up, then I'm flicking it backward in relation to the direction that I'm facing. You can also clearly see the spin by watching the direction in which my hand is turning. The worst thing you can do to return the serve is guess which way it'll kick. This will leave you looking silly way more often than not. If you're not sure which way it's spinning, give yourself a ton of room by getting back as far as possible, and then just react whichever way the ball bounces. Remember to subscribe and tell me why you like pickleball if you want a chance at winning that paddle. Thanks for watching, and go get some aces.